Welcome to Gail's Garden Herbs and More. What did I eat today? Well, I just whipped up a real thin crust. It was I think a cup of flour, a couple eggs. I put some of my herb mix in the crust also with the flour. Here we go. It's Gail's all-purpose seasoning that I make. I take my oregano and all kinds of dried herbs and grind them up and put them in here. This has got ground up garlic and I think there's basil and sage, just whatever herbs you have, grind them up. And I throw them in about everything. Anyway, I put them in probably a good heaping tablespoon in my cup of flour and a little salt and let's see what else. I think about a cup of milk. Did I say 2 eggs? Anyway, whatever crust you want. You can go to the store and buy some crust too, but I kind of like the thinner crust. And you make it, it's almost like a pancake mix. And then I put it in here, and then I have a smaller pan because this is only, I think, a 12-inch. And then I have a little small one and made a small pizza crust too. And it pulls it because it's seasoned. You want to make sure your pan's seasoned well, or you could put it in, I guess, whatever kind of pans you want. But I like this because the cast iron makes a good crispy, bottom on your bread for your pizza. So, and then you just cook it. Well, you want to cook the pizza dough after you get it poured in there about 15 minutes, however, whatever your stove does till it gets pretty well done. Then you put your toppings on it that you want and put it back in the oven until all your cheeses and stuff are melted. I went out and picked all kinds of greens. These are part of them that I picked. Just all kinds of stuff, and washed those up good, chopped up. I had a bunch of them, a big handful of them, and I chopped them up, and as you can see, I put it on there. You can put some meat on there. This one's just vegetarian. And sometimes I'll make my own sauce with some tomato sauce and spices. This time I just use a can of some pasta sauce that I had in the fridge. I didn't use all of it, as you can see. I don't know, maybe a cup. I didn't make it real thick. And I just used what cheeses I had. I had a slice of pepper jack cheese that I crumbled some across both pizzas. There wasn't a lot. And then I had a piece of another cheese, and then I had some, instead of Parmesan, I had some Rumiano or whatever. It's very much like Parmesan. So I like the Parmesan on my pizzas, but I used what I had and sprinkled on there. I baked that up, and then I had a bottle of kombucha, however you want to say it, that I drink with it instead of soda, because soda's not good for you. But anyway, that's what I ate for my physical body food. Okay, so then the homemade pizza and the kombucha was what I ate. And then spiritually, I need some food too. Man does not live by bread alone or by pizza alone. So I've been reading lately through Matthew, and I'm in Matthew 18 right now. And I'm going to start at verse 3 right now. It says, "And said," this is talking about Jesus, he said, "Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven." A lot of people, I hear a lot of different versions on what they think this means, but the next verse, where it says, "Except you be converted and become as little children," but the next verse tells you what he was talking about when he said that. It's humbling yourself. You have to be converted from where you're at, but in a humble way. There's another verse in the Old Testament that says, broken and contrite spirit. You have to be to that point where when you first come to the Lord, you are just so totally humbled and broken and contrite, because you realize just how far from righteousness you are and how much in need of a Savior you are. That's a very, very important fact. And it's hard I think, for adults to humble themselves. Children are more humble, and I think that was the whole point that Jesus was trying to get to. At least in the general rule, your children are more humble. And then later, there's another place too where he says, woe to that person that hurts one of these little children. It'd be better than a millstone be hung around his neck and he'd be thrown into the depths of the sea. A millstone was a big, huge stone, a big round stone where, I know you can sharpen your knives, but it was a millstone. So I think what they were doing with that was underneath it, grinding. As you turn it, you grind the grain and make a flour of it. I mean, it was a big, heavy stone. You aren't going to come up out of the ocean if you have that tied around your neck and you're thrown into the ocean. In other words, you better not mess with the little children. But anyway, that's some of the things of what I'm looking at, both food for the body and food for the soul. And just thought I'd share that with you. And hope you all are doing okay. I hope that you're not only able to eat physical food, but that you are eating your spiritual food as well. And that's a good balance. That way we'll be totally balanced. Anyway, give me a thumbs up if you will, and I'll catch you next time. Bye now.